Jackie, would you like the floor?
No, I want to ask questions.
Oh, help me, set me up.
So, you know, back when you called it the world's smallest sport,
Yes.
what were you doing with the rest of your life?
Well, I was working for a rock band then. But interesting, give me a good direction there. I worked for a rock band as a roadie, and that was, I mean, hey, ultimate hippie gig, right? Going to all concerts and hanging out with cool people. And the only carryover from that part of my life to the mountain bike part of my life is that as a roadie, even though you are in a relaxed atmosphere and you hang around with a bunch of very irresponsible people, if you don't produce, the show doesn't happen, your best friends will hate you. And so, bottom line is that those guys were my best friends, saw them every day. The idea of letting them down was unthinkable. And so I was delivered. My work ethic is ridiculous, and for a hippie especially.
And you didn't partake quite as
let's just leave that part alone, you know. Bottom line is I never had a drug problem, and plenty of people I know did. But when I stopped doing that, the thing is I was used to always, I work hard, work every day. What's the project? I'll finish it, you know. And so that's really the only carryover is I have a big work ethic, because otherwise I would let my friends down. But I want to say something about the culture of mountain biking. Marin County, as you know, gets a lot of credit for being the birthplace of mountain biking, but we were certainly not the first people to ride that kind of bike, and we even saw other people that beat us to many of these concepts. But the reason that Marin County gets the credit for this is because the culture arose there in the sense that we had a unifying event, this race, that would bring not only the riders out, but it became the best free show. I mean, everybody knew when the race was happening. And so a community built up around, if not the bikes, at least the race. And so I eventually put on a kind of a hokey awards dinner. We called it the Clunker Awards. And I gave awards for just ridiculous things, just to have somebody come up on stage and get a handshake, and some kind of, it was just a theme for a party. But we made these really cool awards, and everybody would walk up there, and I wore a tux and shook their hand, and we had a huge party, and everybody had a great time.
Wendy fabricated the
yeah, she made
prizes.
Wendy made all these beautiful awards. I wish I'd brought one with me, but she said the next year I'm not doing that one again, so I had to come up with another design. But we gave out these awards, but the Clunker Banquet, as it became called, was just a big tribal unifying event. And when you, oh man, please.
No, don't answer.
Please, no, I'm not going to answer.
Resist
I'm
the
going to shut them
urge.
off here. Sorry, should have shut it off before. But anyway, we built a tribe and a culture, and in numbers that are very tribal, like, you know, a few dozen people where you can actually know everyone, you know, and it kind of exploded out of a tribal culture because I don't know if you look at, say, flint technology, Mysterian stuff probably started with one tribe, figured out how to make one thing. The culture spreads a lot faster than the genetics, you know. Genetics take generations. Culture moves quickly. And so the culture was established right there in Fairfax, where not only do we do this, we're going to build bikes. And Gary and I were not the only people with the idea of building bikes. Joe Breeze built bikes, the Koski boys built bikes, her husband Charlie Cunningham built bikes. We just happened to have a guy who could build more bikes than all those other people put together, and it put us in the lead as far as that, and made us more influential than we might have otherwise been. Yes, sir.
What was your first impression? You rode the Breeze #2, right?
Yes.
What was your first impression of it?
Well, you know, it's interesting. The impression is different now than it was then. And then, the reason that I asked Joe to build me a bike is because we were riding these old 30s cruisers. And these bikes were not built for 200-pound guys who are going to ride them 20 miles a day, ride them really hard. And my problem was that I was going through a lot of these frames. I mean, I was break a frame in 3 or 4 months and built another one, but we
build up. in other words.
Well, we've used so many of them, the market now, people that had them weren't cutting them loose very easily, and they're harder and harder to find. And so I had Joe build me a bike. Actually, I had another guy build me a bike first, and I wasn't happy with the bike. I wish I'd kept it. It would have been monstrously collectible, but he took the bike back, and I don't know where it is
Is
now.
that Craig Mitchell?
Yes, and he later committed suicide, so we'll never know where that bike went. But anyway, my impression with the bike is that it didn't ride that much differently, but it was not going to come apart under me, you know. And from my standpoint now, like I say, riding a rigid fork, man, that's brutal. I didn't know any better then. Everything was brutal. Who cared? This is brutal, but it won't break, you know. Yes, sir.
Of all the races you've been in, which was like your favorite one?
Oh, yeah, you said that. But like I said, repack for two reasons. One is because it was the only place that I'd ever found that I could sustain that adrenaline rush for that long. Okay, maybe even skiing. Now I'm a skier too, but I presume some of you guys have skied. If you like, go to the top of like the ski resort and try to ski all the way to the bottom as fast as you can, man, in 30 seconds your legs are on fire. And I was a tough guy, ride bikes, but man, you couldn't ski for 5 minutes like you could ride a bike for 5 minutes. You know, you couldn't. 5 minutes of downhill on skis, man, that's more than forever. That is a long, long time to race downhill on skis. So yeah, maybe the thrill is the same, but you can't maintain it as long. And repack is certainly my favorite race. And the other reason is because as a cross-country racer, I barely average. You know, I'm on the large side, and you got your net overings for this tall, you know, and you just want to hate those guys, you know. But I'm good on downhill. But yeah, repack's by far my favorite race because it was mine. And when I was there, trust me, it was good to be me. So.
Tell him who inspired you to quit racing.
Jackie came by me in a race and I said, I'm not going to beat the women. So I didn't wait for the next woman to come by me. So she wants me to say that. Anyway, but it was pretty clear that by then that I was no longer among the faster racers. And I'm not a person who's happy with fourth place. You know, if I don't feel like I got the potential to win it, I'm sorry, there are a lot of people that are happy with fourth place because they had 8th last year, you know. Well, I'm not that kind of person. If I don't feel like I have a shot at winning, it's tough to be there. Anyone? I must be pushing 40 minutes.
I was going to say, yeah, maybe now is a good time to switch and we'll have some time at the end then for more questions
by the way,
for either.
I'm open to questions after we do this formal stuff. If you guys want to, whatever, in the hallway or whatever, I'm fine with that. So, break then.
Cool.
I want to thank you all for like making it easy for me, like setting me up with all these cool questions. Because I'm not like I brought a plan.